Irish rugby team. Team of us. Everyone in.
Now, very happy to say Dan Leavy is in studio. He's promoting Vodafone's Ireland's Ball campaign, which I will tell you about very shortly. Dan Leavy, welcome to studio.
Thanks very much.
You've been busy today doing interviews.
Yes, very busy. Too busy.
Once more into the breach. Here we go. So,
too busy.
I guess everybody's talking to you about the same thing.
Busy. Yeah. Just to reiterate that.
Yes, okay. As he glares outside. So,
help.
Here we are again. So, look, I guess everyone's talking to you about your injury and seeing how you are and how things are going. How are you? How are things going?
Yeah, I'm not too bad. Okay. So I've had my last surgery now 5 weeks today. So I'm progressing pretty well. How
many surgeries was that in total?
I had two rounds, but they're both pretty complex surgeries. So the first one was probably a bit worse. I was about to stay in hospital for 6 days after it, and it was pretty
serious. Yeah.
Yeah. And
how soon after the injury was that?
That was about a month, maybe 5 weeks after the injury. So it was pretty frustrating. So you get injured, and the first thing you want to do is get back on the horse, and it just felt like it's nobody's fault. It's just, I had to wait until the swelling went down before I can go in, but it's just like you're waiting around for 5 weeks. You just kind of want to get...
You want to start the recovery?
Yeah, start the process. It just felt like dead time to me, but got that all done and dusted, and then had about a 3-month block in between the first op and the second op, where I actually made a load of gains, was doing really well. Could squat perfectly, could deadlift perfectly.
That's encouraging even mentally to know that you can...
Yeah, 100%, yeah. So the range is really good. The surgeon, the physio team were all like really happy with it. Said it was looking great. It was really strong and stuff even before I went in.
Right.
And then I went back in 5 weeks ago and had the second part done. So I'm still working to just get back up to that level again, but it's coming back really quick, and I'm very happy with the progress.
And I presume that second surgery was scheduled. You always knew that wasn't just something went wrong and we have to go back in again.
No catastrophes. Well,
beyond the initial catastrophe,
no second catastrophes.
Your Instagram post when I guess you kind of got over the initial shock of it all was along the lines of how you were struggling to put into words how devastated I am with the injury. You said obviously you were going to miss the rest of the season with Leinster, and then you said, secondly, to miss an opportunity to play in a World Cup in Japan is haunting my thoughts. That was the phrase which I think probably captured the honesty of how you were feeling. Yeah, haunting my thoughts. All I've ever aimed for in my career is the opportunity to shine on the world stage. So I'd say on some level, from afar, you've been dreading the World Cup, and now it's coming into sharp focus. What are your plans for it? Will you struggle to watch it? Do you want to get a million miles away from it, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm struggling a little bit. I knew it was always going to come about, and this is kind of as bad as it gets.
This is the exciting period in a way as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, for everyone else, it's just it's just kind of pretty disappointing for myself. Watching the guys jet off in a few weeks and go represent the country with the world watching. It's what every rugby player wants to play for, like dreams about. So it's pretty difficult.
And how does that manifest itself? Like, do you wake up in the morning and think?
No, it's fine. You get little, like, it's just you get a few little bits and bobs where you kind of, before the Italy game, I was sitting down and I flicked on the TV and saw the pundits talking about it, and I was going to just chill out and watch it, and I had to flick it off because I was just kind of. It was a bit much for me, but I just kind of, I'm as interested as I am in it. I've kind of have this way up where I kind of get annoyed that I'm not playing, but I want to watch it. So yeah, it is pretty difficult. I am going away of holidays planned
during it.
Yeah. So I'll be in the jungle in Bali for 2 weeks. So it's a good way to get away from it.
The Wi-Fi signal won't be so good that you can watch the matches.
Maybe catch the highlights.
Yeah.
But
I guess as much as anything, at least, well, there's the kind of frustration of missing it, and then there's also being surrounded by the hype and the excitement, which makes it hard to kind of forget.
Yeah, well, like, it's going to be, I knew it was always going to be the tough part. It was tough watching the end of the season with Leinster. They're, missing out on that, Sarries final in Newcastle was pretty tough, and then you know, watching them win the Pro 14 as well while I'm sitting at home, it's also pretty tough. But I knew this was always going to be the toughest part of the whole process, because it's going to be a long road and stuff. But you know, this was always the thing that I was aiming for. Even last year when I was injured and missed, you know, good chunk of the Six Nations, I was always kind of thinking, well, it's not the worst. Like, so long as I'm fit for the World Cup, it's all good. So yeah, you know, a bit of a sob story here. But look, after the World Cup, I'll just get the head down and focus on myself, and you know, try to get back for the end of the season, try to help Leinster.
No, totally. But it's okay to be utterly sick with the situation, because it does completely stink. Like, it's awful, it's bad luck. You're 25 now, you're at such a good age, blah, blah, blah. You know, 4 years is a long time. So, you know, you're entitled to be feeling a bit sorry for yourself. That's absolutely fine. Was the injury career threatening? Is the injury still, to some extent, potentially career threatening? Because everything we heard, and it's always snippets, you know, unfortunately that's such as a rugby player's life, we get snippets. Everything we've heard is this was no joke, this was not straightforward, this is really serious.
Yeah, it was a pretty serious job, in fairness. But
what exactly did you do?
I pretty much popped my kneecap out of the back of, dislocated my kneecap inwards. So ACL, PCL were gone, and a good bit of damage to the MCL and LCL. So I pretty much had to get most of them repaired up.
Because knees pop, like you had a knee you were popped in a pre-season game before, didn't it, against Ulster?
Yeah. So that was actually the same knee that was pre-existing. So
and you just popped it in that time? Yeah,
it clicked straight back in. That the time in the Aviva didn't.
Did you look down? Did you try and do something yourself, or was it?
Yeah, I did try. So when it actually happened, I knew straight away that it was in serious trouble. And when I looked down at my knee was like, my knee cap was like, it had obviously retracted. So I was trying to kind of pop it back in myself.
Yeah.
So I couldn't really feel it. I was kind of in shock. So I knew that it was out of place. So I just tried to pop it back in myself. It didn't work. So then I started getting those pipes, and then the rest is history.
Things calmed down a little bit.
Yeah.
Did physios come on and try and treat you there, or is that not something?
No, they wouldn't be treating me. They just want to pop it back in. And then just went back. Was in under the Aviva with the, with the doctors and medics and stuff, and watched the end of the game.
Did you?
Yeah, I couldn't really remember it. Got two of those pipes, so I was pretty zoinked at that stage.
I always remember, I don't know if you saw the incident, I suspect you did, because lots of people did, when Seamus Coleman broke his leg.
Oh, yeah.
And fellow players went around and said, don't look at it. I think his clubmate at the time, it might have been James McCarthy, knelt down and said, like, look at me, don't look at it, don't look at it.
Yeah.
And it struck me that's maybe the better approach than you trying to pop it back in and the memory of it and everything. Because I'd say you did go into some kind of horrible shock because you realised how serious it is. Like, I guess I'm asking, it's not an image you want in your head in some ways.
I've seen stuff like that before, so it wasn't...
No biggie.
Well, it wasn't that. It was just like, I was obviously pumped up on adrenaline and stuff like that, but I was just kind of like, all right, first thing I need to do is get this back in place. And then the doctors ran on and the physio and stuff. I just told them what happened. They just sorted it out. But
you almost went into practical mode initially.
Yeah. And then I went into pipe mode. And then I went into double pipe mode. And But I was just kind of, I wasn't even really thinking about the pain of it. I was just trying to get it back to normal.
Yeah.
But
fairly horrific. Did I think I heard you talking to Barry Murphy and Andrew Trimble, like you end up, courtesy of the pipes, I guess, end up giving Leo Cullen a hug or something?
Yeah. This is as good as it gets. That's what I said to him.
In the dressing room?
Yeah. Those things hit you hard.
Yeah.
I gave Leo a hug. I couldn't even remember it, and I said it to the lads the next day. I said I wasn't really getting much off the pipes, and where it was like I remember Rory O'Loughlin, my roommate, was like, "Do you not remember being in the changing room after the game?" And I was like, "What?" And then it started coming back to me, and then I was like, "Wow." I still have Johnny O'Hagan, the bagman for Leinster. He still slags me about it. It's just quite funny. But then I said, yeah. It's on a different world, basically.
Yeah. What's the kind of rehab plan then? Are you going to be stuck in the same room out at Leinster every day for the next year, 8-9 months? Or like, is there a plan, or how's all this mapped out?
Yeah, so I'm just kind of breaking it into little blocks. So I do like 4 weeks of hard work, and then I'd take a long weekend somewhere. I think it works better like that. So you come in and do like some proper work, and then go off on a little holiday or go see something cool or something. So it's nice to break it up. I wouldn't usually get an opportunity to do that with matches every weekend, or you'd be rehabbing pretty hard. If it was like a 4-week injury, rehab like as hard as you can to get back as quick as you can. But since I have this lengthy layoff, I have a bit of time to mess around it, so I'm able to kind of get my work done and then enjoy myself a little bit as well while I can.
And what are the big hurdles ahead with the injury? So the 2 surgeries have gone well. There's no other surgery planned. No. Is it mobility? Is the worry I won't be able to turn on a sixpence as much? Is it that I won't ever have the same strength? I won't ever have the same speed? What's the big pitfall?
At the moment it's just get the range back as much as possible, and then once you can move properly, you can start to put the muscle on your quad. Once your quads are matching in strength, then you move to your hamstring, get them matching in strength, and then you got to do your jumps. And once your jumps are good, then you start to run and stuff again. So that's kind of the plan. So at this stage, I'm just trying to get my mobility back to a level where I can squat and deadlift, and then we can start to get strength while trying to get that last little bit of range in the knee. So just go from there, really.
And what's seen as the biggest challenge or the most kind of worrying thing?
There's nothing really glaringly obvious at the moment. It's just going to take a lot of hard work and a long time. So there's nothing really that's jumping out. The surgery went well.
Good.
The team that supports me, my physio, Carl, and everyone, they all, they have the utmost faith that I'll come back. So,
And have you been resolute and positive yourself, and there's no question marks over me getting back? I am getting back, or have you had moments where you think, I don't know?
No, I wouldn't really think like that. It was, there was a few. As soon as I kind of saw the surgeon and the surgeons, they kind of just said, like, it's a serious injury. We're not going to just tell you it isn't, because like lads have had injuries like this and never played again. So he said he's going to do his best. And
there's no point sugarcoating that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I prefer, and like that's the way to do it. Like I prefer him to tell it to me straight. So pretty much told me that, and I take it and put my faith in him, and he pulled through really well. So now it's just about putting in the work and putting in the hours, and
Well, look, hopefully we do see you back. Are you somebody that has a plan for life after rugby when that day comes, and hopefully that day is 10 years' time? Have you done qualifications, or were you always I'll worry about that later type?
I studied business and law in UCD.
Okay, good.
So I finished up 2 years ago, and I worked in Key Capital in town as well for a year, and now I'm working with AirCap in aircraft leasing for the year as well. So I'm just doing a day a week in there, trying to kind of develop myself.
Get experience.
Get a bit of experience and try, get my foot in the door in a good company.
It's a good idea. I mean, just to save the suspense, it's not as much fun as playing professional rugby, but
yes, I know.
You got a plan for that day, I suppose. And like, who's the kind of support group then? Like, are your family, your big rugby family, your brothers, sisters, girlfriend? Like, who are you kind of turning to and trying to kill time with?
We're not a rugby family. Okay. My brother plays with the Irish Sevens. My parents don't play, obviously.
Or didn't.
or didn't either. But yeah, the sport, like in Leinster, and even from like the Irish coaches, has been like, been great. I think kind of with the RPI as well, the Rugby Players Ireland, they kind of wanted to meet up and see if I wanted to do anything for the year and stuff like that. And I got this internship lined up in AirCap, which will stand to me definitely when I come back playing, and I've got a year and working in the biggest aircraft leasing firm in the world. So that's kind of like valuable usage of my time while I'm out for so long and stuff like that. So
are you in the Leinster dressing room still?
Yeah, I'm not changing my car.
Yeah, but I guess you're on a similar schedule. Yeah, like you're in.
Yeah, well,
you still feel like a rugby player, I guess, is the point.
Yeah. I'm in every day, so I see you'd almost see people more than you would, because you're in, two sessions at least every day, so you're always about.
Right.
I still have a spot in the changing room, just about.
Well, that's good, because there's a degree of normality about that. Schedule about that.
Yeah. And then with the Irish lads, I'd be in touch with them a good bit as well. So I'd be meeting up with them for a coffee or whatever quite a bit. So I'm still kind of, but like again, I'd be pretty distant from that now. Like I obviously wouldn't be in camp or anything. And,
sure.
But like you kind of you hear things on the grapevine anyway. So I'm still pretty clued into that whole.
Yeah, it's like such a hell of a rise for you across that kind of 2017-18 period. You end up with the Grand Slam, you end up Leinster double winners. I think you're Leinster Player of the Year towards the end of that season as well. And it was funny, I was looking back, Jerry Thornley had a piece in the Irish Times just about you at Michael's, and he had a quote from Andy Skehan, the director of rugby there. He was saying by the time you were in fifth year, he was like, yeah, this is going to happen. When did you feel it was going to happen? When did you feel I'm going to make it here as an Irish international? Were you a cocky sort?
You said fifth year,
Yeah, you say, well,
was I a cocky sword? Or
I'm asking you that. Were you a cocky sort?
No.
By the time we were in fifth year, would you have thought, yeah, obviously I am going to make it?
No.
Or that would have been a surprise to you?
No. I was pretty far from that.
Right.
I didn't. On third year, I wasn't really present. Well, I played juniors, and at the end of the year, I played a few games quite well, but I was kind of like on the seconds for the start of the year, and then I played in fourth year. I didn't play at the start of the year, and then got called into the team, and I ended up starting on that team as a fourth year. We lost in the final to Clonghouse, and then I played the next 2 years and captained in sixth year when we won that. Probably at the end of that, when I was going straight into the academy, I was kind of thinking I have a shot at this now, and need to just get in, work as hard as I can. And then as soon as I got into the environment, I didn't really train with the seniors for the first year. I trained a little bit in the second year. First year I didn't though, and but the second year, as soon as I got stuck in training, I kind of thought, in a few years I
could do something. Because he said as well to Jerry, he was always an athletic young fella. In first year, I remember his coach saying, Jesus, your man's talented, but he wasn't as dedicated as James Ryan from the off. He was much more take it or leave it up until he was about 16. He nearly didn't make the junior cup team. It was the same in transition year team, or same in transition year. His dad came up to me one day and said, I can't get him to play rugby. He was playing soccer at Railway Union.
Never played a competitive game of soccer in my life. So
so that's not quite true. Right.
False.
Were you into soccer then?
No.
Right. Okay. So that's not.
No.
Okay.
It's false.
Fair enough then. In terms of this period where you go from in the academy to first team and blossoming, I presume that takes a lot of hard work. We've had you hear of Jack Conan practically half vegan almost, or Keane Healy was in here and he's intermittent fasting. What are your go-tos, superstitions, things you do to get you right? Do you watch a lot of rugby? Do you eat perfectly well? Are you obsessive about various aspects, or more laid-back character? What gets you right, I guess, is almost
before
the
a match, or just in general?
In general. I mean, if there's something specific before a match, but all those areas that different players hone in on? I don't know, is there something you're big on? Do you like watching a lot of the opposition? Do you have to eat a certain way? Do you have to get a certain amount of sleep? Are you a bit more relaxed and vary from week to week or month to month?
I wouldn't say I'd vary. I just try and get all my detail and everything locked away pretty early in the week. By probably try to get it all done by Wednesday. So you know who you're playing, you know who their ball carriers are, you know what they do, how their shape, and you know all your plays for the week. Try and get that done as early as possible, and then you kind of forget about it, and then you can just chill out and make sure your body's right and worry about the recovery aspect and being ready to
go.
The physicality side of things.
Do you find it easy to relax? Are you okay on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? They aren't miserable days.
Yeah, I'd be pretty relaxed even before. I feel I play better when I'm kind of once I'm really well prepared and I've done all my mental prep and I feel like the physicality is there. Then I can kind of chill out and like kind of almost not joke around, but like I like to be kind of loose on a game day. So if that's messing around before I kick off or making a few jokes,
if you don't have the work done, you're that bit tenser. It's hard.
Yeah, but I'd try not to do that anymore.
Yeah.
So.
Do you watch yourself back?
Yes.
Helpful? Does the game tend to look the way you felt it was, or is it sometimes your eyes open to things?
Yeah, well, like I think you have to watch yourself to see. You might have to have a second look at things to see what you could have done differently, and I do a lot of breakdown, look at the different breakdowns and what I did and what I could have done better, and just try to learn from that, and I go through that with some of the coaches and stuff like that, and there's always room for improvement. You're never going to play a perfect game, so it's just all about if you are making mistakes, try just to eradicate them and make sure when you're on the field the next time you're not doing the same.
Not to hark back to your injury, but just a question I wanted to ask you as well. So you were kind of in the poacher position when it happened. Are there things that could be done to make that all a bit safer, that whole area of the game?
Yeah, probably. Stop getting people cleaning out from the side is probably the main thing.
That's how it happened with you, is it?
Yeah. I wasn't properly set though. I was kind of me and J.R. kind of made a double tackle and I tried to reef the ball and I was turning to get set, and then it's a few different unlucky kind of circumstances in a row, but it's not safe. It doesn't matter how strong you are. If you're locked on a ball, if someone hits you on the side of your knee, it's going to go so.
And how often does that tend to happen?
You see it happen every once in a while. I was actually sitting at home watching the Irish under-20s. I can't remember who they were playing, but the whistle went anyway, and someone came in a late clear out and hit someone, and their knee buckled as well. Literally the exact same thing. I could see it coming from about 5 seconds away. I saw it coming. I don't know if you saw that injury or not.
No.
But the poor lad has done pretty much the same thing as me.
Okay. So it's something they could look at and...
Yeah, I was chatting to Noel Mack about it as well, and he was saying he sent him away to the, World Rugby or whatever, saying how many lads have to get injured before they can
change it,
clamp down on it.
And how do you clamp down on it? Just stiffer penalty?
Yeah, it's I don't know.
Do people tend to get red cards for an incident like that?
No, you wouldn't get a red card.
Yellow?
No, you wouldn't get a yellow either.
Okay, well that's a starting point, I guess.
Yeah.
Lads would be more careful about coming in from the side if they knew there was a potential red card coming for them.
Yeah, but sometimes they're on the line, but if it's blatantly, it's pretty dangerous. So.
You're vulnerable.
Yeah.
And in that whole when you're over the top and your neck's exposed, I think Sean O'Brien made the point a few times, or a few others have, that how many free hits does someone get at me when I'm in a jackal position as well? That's something you'd have experienced.
Yeah.
Do you have a problem with that?
Not really, no.
No?
Not really. You're going to get a whack and then you're always sore after a match. But, that's your job.
Yeah, okay. You're here, before we go, by the way, to promote Vodafone's Ireland's ball campaign. So Vodafone have created a unique ball It's got a bespoke grip containing the fingerprints of 32 different people from every county in Ireland, obviously representing Irish rugby fans and the idea of Vodafone's Team of Us. And you can win a chance to present that ball to the Irish rugby team and 2 tickets to Ireland against Wales September 7th. The place to do that is rugby.vodafone.ie/Ireland's Ball. So rugby.vodafone.ie/Ireland's Ball, and you can get involved there. I guess you won't be watching, but Ireland at the World Cup, final question. What's your sense of things? Everybody's kind of a little bit worried and peaked in 2018 and 2019 didn't go so well, and that's the general kind of air. We hope things go well, but we're not as sure as we might have been a year ago that things will go well. How are you feeling about Ireland's chance at the World Cup? It's quite an open one.
Yeah, I think they have a really good shot. I think, where they were last year and where they were ranked and wherever, and they're probably one of the teams to beat and stuff, and that's kind of eluded them a little bit, that tag now, which is, I think it's probably a good thing. Everyone's talking about Wales, everyone's talking about South Africa, even the Aussies after their win 2 weeks ago. I think they're actually in a really nice position at the moment. All the heat's off them. And I know the belief in the group, and I know what that changing room is like, and I think, you don't need to play your best rugby until, you're in those knockout games, and, maybe, obviously Scotland, Japan, and the groups as well, but I think they're sitting pretty, and I think if they can find that cohesion and whatnot, I think they'll be very, very hard to beat over there.
Good man. Well, listen, it's a big pity you're not there. Hopefully we see you back very soon. Thanks so much for coming in. Cheers.
Thank you. Cheers.
Rugby on Off the Ball.
With Vodafone, official sponsors of the Irish rugby team. Team of Us. Everyone in.